have been pretty if he hadn't been scowling. Then his eyes met my boobs. Kind of hard not to, since I'm 6 foot tall if I slouch a little, and he was shorter than I am. He turned his sneer into a leer, which was worse. Dirty hipster dude had his dirty thoughts all over me, until I felt like I was the one who needed a shower. Here it comes, I thought. 3, 2, 1. Well, you're a tall drink, ain't ya? Oh, ew. He even did the indulgent little smile thing. I like 'em tall. Good enough. I opened my mouth to say something cutting and witty, and probably a little bit mean. I like 'em bathed, maybe. Then my demon showed up, put a hand on my shoulder, and whispered a suggestion into my ear. I just couldn't help myself. I like 'em hung, I replied. Yeah? His grin widened and he swayed toward me. Yeah, I said as seductively as I could manage. Dress him out, hang him up in the shade for a few days, strip out the tenderloins and eat those first. That's the best part, you know. Want to know a secret? I usually take a bite or two raw. I do love a good piece of meat. I let my grin widen as I talked, and my eyes, too. Give him a little of the Harley Quinn treatment and... See? I breathed a sigh of relief as he backed away. Seriously, the dude stank. Crazy bitch, he muttered, and he stepped out of line. Crazy bitch. The demon on his shoulder screeched in impotent fury. I laughed out loud. What, you don't like deer meat? I said. If you hate hunters so much, maybe you should go back to the city. A few faces in the crowd looked up at that and turned to stare the guy down. Bearpaw is a friendly place, unless you're one of those vocal Save Bambi types. There's even a giant billboard just outside of town that proclaims, "There's a place for every wild creature on Earth," right next to the mashed potatoes. Dirty hipster dude moved to the back of the line, hands in his pockets and lecherous eyes fixed firmly on his never-seen-the-woods hiking boots. His demon clung to his hair and hissed at me. My own demon stood just behind my shoulder. I could feel the satisfaction pouring from her like heat from a wood stove, but I didn't turn to look at her, or smile, or acknowledge her presence in any way. I may be crazy, but I'm not insane. Apparently, Dirty Hipster Dude wasn't alone in his delusions of odor. The whole place stank. I tipped back on the hind legs of my little chair and kept my feet propped up on another one. That, my usual scowl, and a bit of a reputation, kept the crowd mostly away from my table. Occasionally, I'd have to break out the barbarian death glare when some hopeful fudgy blundered into my territory, but for the most part, I sipped my mead and listened to the music. Honey's mead was famous. I'd heard they'd even served it in Paris. And the band was rockin'. Bane and the Bean Cid was a ridiculous name for a rock group, and they looked like punk rockers who'd been given a partial makeover by a bunch of preschoolers with an unlimited supply of glitter glue, but hot damn, they could play. And when their lead singer Bane opened that big toothy mouth and just belted it out, holy crap, what a voice. I'd never heard anything like it. That dude could sing. That smoky, lovely, bone-tickling voice rose up like a bird, like an eagle, effortless and powerful and huge. It made me feel free. It made me feel happy. He had some kind of strange accent, round and slurry. I understood like one word out of every 3. But with a voice like that, so what? He could be singing about underwear, as far as I was concerned. Come to think of it, I wouldn't mind. My reverie was broken when none other than Dirty Hipster Dude stumbled into my field of vision, came right up to my table, and tried to pull away the chair on which I had been resting my feet. I brought my own chair down on all fours, landing with a bang, and unleashed the glare. But my powers were no match for whatever chemical cocktail he'd been marinating in. He had the strange, mushroomy smell and glazed donut look of someone who'd been using. Maybe he'd accidentally roofied himself. Somehow he seemed the type. "You using this?" he mumbled, even as he tried to tug the chair out from under my feet. I tipped the mouth of my wine glass away from him and narrowed my eyes. Piss off. See, I can be both mature and subtle. He swayed in place for a minute or two, staring at me with his mouth partway open.